Well, good evening, and thank you for joining us for another live with CJH. It is April 21st, and I am so excited to introduce you to really cool guys that we have been just blessed to recently be connected with through our foundation work and their nonprofit work regarding teen suicide prevention and mental health awareness and all that good stuff. And so they are just doing great things in their communities, and I just can't wait to let them tell you all about it. So I'm not going to say anymore. I'm going to jump right into it. Tonight we have John Williford and Dave King. They are both with the HeartSupport, and it's a nonprofit. Let's see, HeartSupport was created to build a place where people can come exactly as they are, explore healing, provide relevant resources to an increasingly digital generation, and to teach them to give back and help others to grow stronger. Every year, we help men and women brave their wounds, find purpose, and discover healing. Our goal is to create a legacy of life transformation, freeing them from suicide, addiction, abuse, and mental health issues while empowering them with the realization that they are loved unconditionally and supported by a community that believes in them. Wow, that's pretty awesome.
That's a long mission statement.
Yeah, hey, that's great. I wish I wrote that.
You might have to condense that or something. That's long.
Okay, well, so John Williford, and Dave King, you wave.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you for joining us tonight and welcome. So let's just jump right into it. Maybe we start with you, John, and just kind of tell us exactly what is HeartSupport, how'd y'all get started, and what are y'all doing?
Yeah, well, thank you, Kim and Tracy, for having us tonight. And we're really excited to work with you guys to impact as many people as we possibly can after COVID and mental health in general and everything that's happening. Just really excited to do some work. HeartSupport, the HeartSupport Foundation, is about 10 years old. We're about a decade old. And up until about 2 or 3 years ago, we've largely resided online, in the online space, creating technologies and ways to connect people together that are struggling with mental illness. And we came out of, I like to call it our prequel movie or our origin story, but we came out of the metal music scene. So if anybody out there, listens to metal or have been to a metal show or a concert or something like that, it's those crazy, shows and stuff. And you go and there's mosh pits and it's very dark. And everyone's wearing black clothes and stuff like that. And we were started by a guy who is the lead singer of a band called August Burns Red. So he would get up on stage, do these big crazy shows. And then after the show, he would go down and he would talk to his fans. It's very personable. He would talk to his fans, sell t-shirts, things like that. And he started to realize that his fans, which were primarily, teenagers, 20-somethings, were struggling very deeply with things like depression, anxiety, PTSD. And these were younger people. Many of them had scars on their arm, self-harm and things like that. And so Jake is his name, Jake Lors. And so Jake resolved to create an online community of people that could come together, talk about these issues, and just open up. A place where people could come in, talk about their depression, talk about their suicide ideation or the things that they were thinking, and not be judged for that. Be open and accepting and build a level of trust amongst each other so that they could talk openly about these issues and not have any stigma. And so 10 years ago, what that looked like was just a simple chat room. It was, Jake would do a tour, and in a particular city, he would meet people, and then he'd go to another city and, national tour and stuff like that. And so he wanted to create a place online that could be accessible 24/7 to anybody. And back then it was just a chat room. It was people going on this chat room and saying, I'm struggling very deeply with depression right now, or I have no hope for my life, or I'm all alone in this thing that I'm struggling with. And other people would get on and say, no, you can have hope. Here's why. And, we're going to support you. People became friends, and it grew and grew. Over the years, we've added staff and we've added a bunch of technological pieces. The small chat room is now a huge thing called the support wall, where anyone can go post about any struggle that they are dealing with at forum.heartsupport.com. And we'll receive the sort of medical clinical term that it's called is peer support, which is really just being a good friend to people. But they can post about any struggle that they're going through, and our community will go on there and support them. I think the average time is an hour or two to get a response, but usually it's much quicker than that. Usually someone will post and people will flock in and support that person.
So that's 24/7.
24/7.
And so who are the people that are responding? Are they're just peers? They're not medical professionals. They're just giving support.
Well, while we do have some medical professionals in the community that volunteer for us, most of the people, we call it peer support. So it's volunteers that we've trained through our workshops and classes and other means and things like that that provide support. We do have, I'd say, a handful of professional counselors and therapists in the space, but we're very, very careful to say before we provide support or we live stream support or anything like that, we are not professional counselors or therapists. We do have 2 on our board that make sure that everything that we do and say is legit and make sure that it's verified and things like that. But yeah, peer support. And the reason that we do that is because what we found over the years is that there is counseling and therapy and every manner of mental health help available for people. Books on every topic you could think of, and not only counseling and therapy, but nonprofits that will pay for people to go to counseling and therapy. There's all this help available, but the statistics on suicide, depression, PTSD, and all these things continue to rise each year. And the gap that we sort of step into are people, primarily young people, but really anyone 10 to 34. And honestly, we have people older than 34 in our community as well. But anyone who cannot access, cannot afford, or doesn't want to go to counseling or therapy, isn't ready to take that step, isn't ready, doesn't have any hope to even try, or believes that that help just won't work for them, that they're whatever they're going through is completely hopeless. We go in and we very lovingly, with active listening and things like that, challenge that belief and say it's not hopeless. You are not alone in what you're going through. Here are other people that have been through this thing. Here's how they overcame it. Here are resources. We'll recommend HeartSupport resources. We also recommend outside resources. We offer a free week of counseling, professional counseling to people. And we get them to that place where that they can transition out of what we call triage, which is basically just crisis. Get them out of that crisis mode where they start to have hope for the future. They start to say, okay, I think I can do this. And then they move into an area of healing. And that's kind of the 3-step process that we try and put everyone through is crisis management, healing, which is a longer process, different for every person. And then the last step is purpose, where we work with them to develop what it is they're here to do, what their skill set is, what their strengths are. And then those are the people that volunteer heavily for us, and they turn back around and then they start helping people. And that's how we grow.
Oh, wow. Well, it sounds like a very thought out program, and it sounds like it's really working. I've logged on to the support wall online, and just those comments are just so encouraging. And just the fact that it's 24/7 and they get a response so quickly really is, that's what makes it work.
Yeah. Yeah. And I forgot to mention the online mechanism. But what we used to do was do a summer music festival tour every year. So we go on something called Vans Warped Tour. I don't know if you guys out there on Facebook and stuff have been to Vans, but we would go and set up a tent and basically be a live version of that support wall to people. So we were talking earlier about how we're going to do this taco festival next week with COVID and maybe not being able to hug people and all that sort of stuff. But when we go to festivals, we're very intentional about going out and reaching out to people. We have a coworker, my coworker's his name is Nate, and he is notorious for walking into crowds of people and high-fiving them and immediately getting into conversation with them and bringing them into our tent. And he does that in a relevant way. So it's not like an awkward person coming up to them and saying, hey, do you want to talk about depression or something like that?
Right.
It's coming up and saying, hey, what bands are you guys here to see today? And getting into conversation with them and reaching out. And 9 times out of 10, when we start to ask them about their lives and what they're going through and what they're struggling with, there is this outpouring of, oh, wait a minute. They realize this is an organization that they can trust. They are safe with us. They can talk about, they're not going to be judged for being weird. They're not going to be judged for wearing a black sweater during the summer so they can hide the scars on their arms and things like that. And so that's what we did in person before. We'd go around on a sweaty tour bus and just talk to kids all summer. and hook them up into the online community and get them plugged into it. And then from that online community, we continue to build relationships with them and things like that.
Oh, wow. So are y'all primarily just online right now because of COVID and everything?
Because of COVID, yes. So
Dave saying no.
No, no. Just I might tag in here, but John, on that, the approach is kind of two-pronged, and the online community is remarkably important, but also is get inside each other's space, and the time to get in each other's space is right now, and we've got to find a way to kind of reassemble community safely by the medical standards and by what we can do legally and should do ethically, but no, we're not pulling back from that, the face stuff and staying straight to online. The face stuff's too important. So yeah, I mean, this year, and John, you can kind of talk about the stuff we're doing here, but we're doing festivals. We did Loud Fest in Houston last year, had a great turnout for that, so pretty important part as well. Sorry about that, buddy. I didn't mean to trump your no with my yes.
No, you're totally fine. I didn't want it to be like, yeah, we're hugging people during COVID too. That's all we're doing. No, yeah, safely as we can, going outside and reaching out to people. We did do a festival called Loud Fest, so Live Out Your Dreams festival back in December. We were able to talk to people there, and that was in Katy. And basically what we do, and I cannot wait to go outside and do this, is deployed to the festival to, like Dave said, get into people's spaces. There's only so much with the online mechanisms that we can do. It's just very difficult we can provide support to them and link them to resources and invite them into our community all day. But until I can sort of sit across from somebody or meet somebody at a festival and look them in the eye and tell them that they are not weird or strange or different, and communicate that there is hope for them, and introduce them to my volunteers who have also found hope and have been through the same thing. The level of trust that we're able to build there in person is just, it's better. So
yeah, there's nothing to compare to having someone that is struggling and in that hopeless situation to connect and relate to someone live.
Right.
That has been there, that can offer hope.
Yeah.
Wow. I love it how y'all meet them where they're at. That's so important. I think that's something that so many of us, and me included at times, forgets how to do. And because you want them, you want to meet them where they're supposed to be. You want to meet them on your terms and not on theirs. So I think that's you're right. That is where the gap is. Okay, well, Dave, since you jumped in, let's introduce you. You are
John.
the executive director of HeartSupport. So how did you get involved in all this? How did you meet John?
Well, yeah, I actually met John, I think close to being as the new executive director. I go back to the space quite a long time. 27 years coaching, varsity level, high school, and college basketball and football, and that's what really kind of began to key me into, we have something going on in our youth that's uncommon, just a real drop of lack of hope really at the end of the day. A lot of more and more mental health issues from a coaching standpoint. And one of our communities in New York State, and I'm from New York State, suffered, I think 2 years in a row, I think we're led per capita teenage suicide teenage suicide attempts for the nation in 2006 and 2007. And a close friend of mine was in that community, called me up and knew I was coaching and spent a lot of time with kids, and said, hey man, we got to do something about this. So I helped form an organization called the iMatter Foundation. And one of our key things was one of these hardcore shows that John just referred to. And sure enough, I booked August Burns Red, who Jake, before he even formed HeartSupport, I had him at my festival. And it was a free festival reaching out for kids. We trained up volunteers, 200 volunteers a day of, and here's the rule. Everybody deserves eye contact. Everybody deserves a smile, period. everybody's welcome in our space. It doesn't matter who you love, doesn't matter what your faith is, doesn't matter what your skin color is, doesn't matter what your body type is, doesn't matter what your gender is, all that stuff. It's just unconditional love, mom to dad, father to son, whatever. And we grew that festival from 300 the first year to 7,800 2 years later, and off we ran. And now that festival's turned into one of the largest hardcore shows on the East Coast. And in that time, Jake and I, just developed a really close relationship. Back in, 2009 or 10, I think, is when I met Jake. And so I've kind of been, we've been kind of doing this thing together since then. Bouncing ideas off each other. I consulted with him a lot on the scene and on some of the demographic stuff. He consulted with me a lot on what can we really do about it long term. So we've been doing this together actually 10 years. He called me up in fall of 2018 and he said, "Hey, old man, it's time for you to retire and come to work at HeartSupport." And after I got done laughing at him, I realized he was serious. And next thing I know, I'm saying yes to a job offer to step into HeartSupport and kind of bring HeartSupport from that online community, which has been the basis of who we are and what we do and will be. I mean, it's super important that work we do, like it or not like it, our kids are plugged in. It's just a reality. And somebody is influencing them there, right? So I'd like it to be us, and we're putting a lot of money into developing a number of programs to be able to help these kids in the online portal. But Kim, as you mentioned, I'm kind of a purpose face-to-face guy. So I'm the second half of what we're doing, and really what Jake really brought me on to do is to take our online community and make and kind of and duplicate it again to now a level of connectivity, real relational connectivity with culture. So, we're not, we are one at a time, but we're building relationship with culture. We're having our first annual gathering, HeartSupport annual gathering this year in Lancaster, opening up to anybody in the space. Come get to know us. We're gonna, 2-3 day conference there. This we think will grow, as COVID allows us to grow hard. We were back into the festival scene, the event scene. I'm happy to be there with Trey, helping Trey out at the Taco Fest this year. So we're going to be there, and all we're there to do is to express, you're welcome in our space. We're not there to solicit. We're not there to, we're not vendors. We're just there to say, hey, if you're struggling with some mental health, we got some resources here. Let's chat. Have a good time today, but let's chat tomorrow, right? So. It's kind of the snapshot of it, Kim, and I formally retired in 2019 and doing this full time. And I wish we didn't have to do it. I wish there wasn't such a thing as iMatter or HeartSupport, but it's very needed as we know.
Well, and thank God you're doing it. So we're never going to let you fully retire.
Yeah, well, Jake says the same thing, and you said it. I do thank God I'm doing it.
Yeah. Well, I just love the way that your approach, just being hands-on with the kids and being real with them and letting them come to you instead of you forcing yourself on them, meet them at a concert where they least expect to talk about mental health, but hey, you know what? Everyone has it. So I guarantee you, y'all's booth will probably be filled at the festival. People don't even
know. We got a lot of attention. One of the things I learned in coaching, and you mentioned this as well, is you have to meet players where they're at. If you try, if you try to just treat everybody the same way, we're not meeting people where they're at. And it's really important for us to be effective in communicating the culture, is understanding where culture's at, understanding the pain the kids are suffering, and how they're able to, internalize it without showing external signs. So it's important for us to kind of increase the conversation level, ask the hard questions, and at least express to this generation that we care. I mean, we care about you. You are a priority to us. And
let them know that they're not alone. I mean, I think
that's not alone.
the
Right,
biggest message.
we're in this together.
No, they're not alone. Okay, so you talked about other programs and things that y'all have started, and this is just something that I know y'all have started in New York, the mental health gym. Is that right? So tell me about that.
Yeah, so
We're at Pennsylvania.
yeah, so started. So our headquarters is now in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. It was in Austin, Texas, but Jake is in Lancaster, and he's had this on his mind for a long time. In fact, he's one of these tattoo guys, and he has "Your" and "Life" tattooed on his hands, and that's the Your Life Gym. And so he, during COVID, he, when everybody else was closing down gyms, Jake decides to open up a gym. And so, it's kind of the way this guy rolls. And so, he called me up and he said, Dave, it's time to do the gym. And like, I'm seeing on my television, all these gyms are closing. And he says, well, we're opening. And sure enough, he did it. And what we've done is we think we might have started the first tagged mental health gym. And it is a first class workout facility. With the Arsenal equipment, some of the top equipment in the market, top dumbbells. I mean, the gym is really state of the art, but we're also combining the mental health component to it as well, and providing all members access to mental health workshops. And they launched it in November. They're already up to a couple hundred members. And I think that, like 20% of them are coming to the mental health workshops that they hold once a week, which is remarkable. They also provide nutrition, or nutritionist, and physical therapy. And so I'm kind of proud of this man, who kind of bucks the trend a little bit. Followed state lines. I mean, he stayed safe. He stayed within the instructions of the government with Pennsylvania, but he launched this gym and is doing well. And our mental health workshops are kind of spreading. I think we're gonna launch one fairly quickly in Houston, or two, and then Colorado Springs, Fort Bragg with our veterans group. So it's they're spreading as well.
Well, it's such a smart thing. I mean, it's such a smart idea to combine the two, mental health, in a gym. I mean, and then especially as the mental health training is all that free with their membership.
Yep.
I mean, that's such a great combination. And the fact that it's doing well during COVID while other gyms are closing down is a testament to how well it works. That's great.
Yep. We're pretty happy with it so far.
So, John, tell us about your HeartSupport Masterclass. What is that about?
The masterclass that we just finished, or the upcoming Houston one?
Or just tell us all about it. I mean, what is the masterclass, and I mean, what do we need to know about it? Yeah.
Sure. So we just actually finished a couple of weeks ago our annual giant masterclass. We call that our Culture Shapers Masterclass. And that one, it's got about 150 students in it. It's pretty big. And we cover the gamut, everything from self-care and mental health tactics to take care of yourself or support people. We also have classes on networking and developing a nonprofit, the finances and different things like that Dave will teach. And so that's a year-long course. We do that one every year. And that one is called the Culture Shapers Masterclass. It's a very, very higher view of shaping and impacting culture on a grand scale. So I think June, we're going to start mental health classes in Houston. I like workshops better, actually. And what I'm going to be teaching is kind of like the Culture Shapers Masterclass, but a little bit more condensed. We're not going to cover more practical nonprofit things like maybe fundraising or developing nonprofit and things like that. In my class, we're going to focus on purpose. We're going to focus on how you define yourself, where you're at in your mental health journey, what you are currently struggling with. And we're going to get really, really deep into things like your triggers, or things like self-care, everything from, and not just in a general sense, things like sleep, what you're eating, what you do throughout your day that affects your mental health, and things like that. So we'll focus on the person in a class, and then we'll switch over to, I'm a Texas certified peer support specialist. So I'm going to be teaching how to provide peer support, which sounds super simple. It sounds like, okay, somebody's hurting, you just kind of, all right, I'm here for you. It's actually really hard. And we'll be getting really deep into active listening, which again, sounds really easy. Just listen to somebody. But the support that HeartSupport provides, and the reason that we're able to be so effective at it is because we are, when we're supporting somebody, trying to build a really, really deep level of trust with them. So when we're listening to somebody talk about, I'm really struggling, really deeply with depression or something like that, it's really easy to provide support in a non-effective manner. So if somebody comes to you and says, I'm struggling very deeply with depression, I've thought about suicide a few times in the past couple of months. You're like, man, you just need to toughen up, dude. You just need to get out there. You just get back on that horse. Let's go, man. You got it. Let's snap you out of this. Or saying, oh, totally. I've been there before. I know exactly how you feel. This is what I did to get through it, and I know exactly how you feel, and stuff like that. What I would like to teach is how to have someone say that to you, and for you to actually listen to them, to be that type of a listener to somebody in this type of culture that we have right now, which is so loud and noisy and distractions everywhere. I want to teach people to be a gift to other people, to be able to sit with them, to be in their presence, to be in their space, and for them to know that you're not thinking about anything else. You're just listening to them and what they're going through. Fully, completely present, not getting text on your phone, not thinking about what you're going to eat for lunch, stuff like that. We're going to teach how to effectively be in someone's space and provide that support. Advice is a little bit a part of that, at the tail end of providing support and after listening to somebody and being there for them and just fully engaging with them. Sometimes at the end you say, what works for a lot of people is therapy and counseling. We have this resource, that resource. I would encourage you to go check it out, things like that. So that was kind of a tangent. That's one thing that I'm going to teach, how to provide effective peer support.
That's that is so important. I mean, because you're right. So many people don't know how to be an active listener, and and you feel awkward trying to figure out the right thing to say. And so many times it's really not the right thing to say. It's just to be present and listen.
Yeah.
So I love that. Okay.
Yeah.
For that class. Okay. What else you got?
Yeah. So that, and other than that, we're going to spend a lot of time learning, or I'm going to spend a lot of time teaching how to be effective. So how do you portion out your time every week? What kind of roles do you have in your life? For instance, I am a father, a husband. I work for HeartSupport. I'm a pastor, and I also have friend is one of my roles, being a good friend to people. So working with people to be effective in their lives by organizing their time. I don't know anyone that's better than Dave at organizing the 168 hours of your week. So you're literally putting it on a whiteboard. Where do you spend your time? Why do you spend your time there? And are you being effective with it? So that'll be where we spend some time. And that's pretty much it. Peer support, mental health, and being effective and leading in that space.
So are these courses are all online, right? Like Zoom courses, and are they interactive?
They are.
Okay.
I'm actually making it sound much more like I'm teaching much more. It's more of a conversational base like this. Yeah.
And like how many are usually in the class?
Well, I haven't done one yet.
Oh.
We had a workshop in Pennsylvania last week that had maybe 20, 30 people in it. Mm-hmm. Dave, is that right? The one with
that's been ongoing for 5 or 6 months. Yeah. And it's once a week, one male, one female, and they're an hour a week.
And then is the communication just between the teachers, or can the participants communicate as well?
It's generally facilitated and not participated by, it's participatory. So we want the people in the class to speak, but basically speak to the class or to the facilitator, not necessarily to keep to each other to a minimum.
Okay. Wow, these sound great. So this one is starting up in June.
Yes.
Right. And and you'll get us an information once you have the dates. And how much are these courses? Do you know?
$50 a month, right, John? I'm sorry, John. Go ahead, buddy.
No, that's right. Yep. $50 a month. They're ongoing, and mine are going to be Tuesday nights. And I think we'll do 7 p.m. I haven't decided on that yet, but probably 7. And
Okay.
the exact date will be, I want to say June 1st, but I think June 1st is a Saturday. So the first Monday, I believe it might be June 3rd.
So first Tuesday in June.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Please send us links and all that good stuff once you have that set. And we'll.
You're on my list.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, that's huge. That's some good information to learn. Okay. So then what about, we had talked about school assemblies and things like that y'all had done in the past. I know you had done some, Dave, in your area. Tell us a little bit about what those look like.
Yeah, I mean, being in the school, as a coach, obviously you see a lot of them. I don't know how many school assemblies I've been to, and then it was one of the initiatives we did at HeartSupport or at iMatter quite a bit. We experimented with all kinds of different styles. I probably have personally run 50 or 60 or 70. Not in the hundreds, but enough to to at least learn what works and what doesn't work. And our assemblies are focused on engaging with the kids, not necessarily talking at them. We try to meet the kids where they're at. We customize it 5th and 6th grade, 7th and 8th grade, and then in high school, so it's age appropriate. Probably a preferred method is to have an artist come in and do some songs, get them kind of going. The universal language is music, and just kind of get them out of their seats, maybe dance a little bit, 2-3 songs. And then I've done a bunch of things. I've had motivational speakers, I've had funny guys, but what I've really landed on myself, that's been most effective is play games with the kids, age appropriate games, everything from stack the cup stuff to the younger kids to a family feud thing with kind of appropriate questions for high school, and just kind of give the kids a break from the routine. I've seen so many things done. I've seen a lot of former athletes come in and talk and say, hey, I got involved in drugs, so don't do drugs, and it just doesn't work. I mean, I've seen so many. And I've done, assemblies where I walked out that door and so I didn't make an impact. And so for us, the school assemblies, we want to make an impact. So as we get the kind of games going, the last 5 minutes, our team will say, now this is why we're doing it. Was that fun? This is, and start building a family. This is what family looks like. Family that plays together, stays together type of an approach, kind of leaving with some closing thoughts, mostly focused on bullying and respect. And again, if we get the typical 50 minutes, it's 10 minutes of an artist, 35 minutes of games, and then a 10-minute close. And then we do a full, throughout the classes. So, again, 5th, 6th grade, we'll do another assembly the same day with the next age group and just kind of repeat the process. And then we do a full concert with the artist that night, and invite, the parents in. And then, we've done, a number of different things. We can, one is have panels. I've seen that to be effective. I will say this, what I've not been effective to do yet is to get the parents engaged. I mean, I'm going to have the gym full or the auditorium full of kids for that concert that night, but getting the parents back out has been a tougher thing for us. So we've had to make some adaptations where maybe, if the parents aren't there, we can't really do panel discussions, which we like to do. Or just another, again, with less parents, it's more of our speaker is a little more ready for the age appropriate conversation. I guess that's where we stay a little bit, loose to what the school's needs are for the evening side. And I guess the other thing I'd mention is we also offer to the school, and I've been doing this personally, to meet with the faculty and just kind of open the dialogue with some things with the faculty that many faculty know about, but they just don't have permission to talk about. And I might open up some eyes on things, and such things as I might call it the underground, the underground communication that's happening inside our schools, and how important it is to us as parents to understand that there's a flow of information going that's not raising up to the level of of adults hearing, and it's a dangerous flow. I mean, these kids aren't able to handle some of the topics that they're forced to handle in day and age. And so we're actually raising that awareness to the faculty, like, hey, keep your ears open to the underground, because it's there. And a lot, and usually when that's all I have to say, and teachers start looking a little nervously, but they know. I mean, our kids are hearing some pretty dangerous things.
For sure. Yeah, I know our schools have had PTO assemblies with, I think they're called, I can't remember the names of, anyway, topics, these underground topics.
Yeah.
And it's information that every parent needs to know, but you're right, they're not well attended,
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's always been our challenge also is, the parents know that their kids need help. They know that we have a problem in our community, but yet they're not attending our events. So
right.
So that's something that we're excited to just kind of get to know y'all better and work with y'all and see what we can come up with to kind of, learn from what y'all have done and see what we can do in our community. So
it sounds right, Kim. And I'll close the school thought out with it has to stay adapting. As many as I've done, every time I leave there with an idea of what we can do different or better, and school systems are requesting different things. So I mean, we do have a questionnaire for the school. Says, okay, where would you like us to focus? And I had a school not many years ago. We walk in and say, we have a sexual abuse, we have a rape problem in our school. It's like, whoa, that was an eye opener. It's like, hey, I wasn't ready to deal with that one. But they asked us to address that scenario.
Wow. Yeah, those are tough issues to address, and sometimes it's easier to bring it in an outsider like yourself to talk to the parents and faculty and students rather than someone internal. So maybe that's why it works so well.
Yeah, I think so. And the coaching background, being on the streets now so long, and really, I get a chance to go north to south, east to west, coast to coast. I spend time in LA doing this, and Detroit. I've been in meetings really both north, south, and the language is the same. We really need to start allocating more time and energy towards our youth.
Amen to that.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so how can sounds like y'all have a lot of people volunteering, at least on your HeartSupport wall. Is that what it is? Yeah, your support wall. You have a lot of volunteers, but all of those volunteers have to go through a training, correct, John?
Yep.
So if other people want to volunteer, I mean, do y'all have any need for help from people in the community? Because people are always asking us, how can we help with y'all's mission? So are there areas where y'all are needing help?
100%. And I can speak to, the Houston outreach that we're doing. And Dave, maybe after you speak to the larger, all of the online, outreach stuff that we do. Every week right now it's 4 times. I think we might be expanding soon to another hour of the week. But basically, short answer, yes. Until we can attack this problem to where it is not a pandemic of its own, mental illness and things like that, yes, we would like more people. There is a short training involved. We put them through one of our master classes by my coworker, Taylor, who speaks on how to provide peer support to people or suicide prevention to people over the internet, and put them through a training there. Every week we go live 4 or 5 times. And what we do basically is literally just like this. It looks just like this. We could do it right now if we wanted to, but we go over to forum.heartsupport.com. And when you go into the support wall, you see all the different topics. It goes on and on of people that have come to HeartSupport struggling with really just everything. Maybe they're getting into self-harm and they're saying, hey, I don't really want to do this, but right now this makes me feel good. So I'm self-harming. Or someone that can't get over their drinking habit, or someone that is maybe suicidal in that moment, who we always refer to the suicide lifeline first. What we do is we go on, we record a video just like this, and we pick a topic, and we read the user's name out loud. We read the topic of what they're going through, and we read their whole post. So we'll get on like this and we'll say, this post is from user so-and-so. They're struggling with this. We read everything that they wrote. And then whoever is volunteering on that particular time slot, we just talk to that person. We provide peer support to them. And in Houston, I love our team. It's just incredible. The demographics that we have on our team spans all different types of perspectives. And so I get to speak, my particular perspective. I have a certain background and where I'm coming from, but our volunteers are coming from, all different types of perspectives. And so we come in and 5 or 6 people at a time, just talk directly to this person who is anonymous. We thank them for coming to the support wall. We thank them for trusting us enough to post what they're struggling through, which even if you're anonymous, it's really hard to write, I'm struggling with self-harm, I'm struggling with this or that. And they trust us and they put that on the wall. And we just take our time. We sit down and we tell them that they are loved, that we are here for them whenever they need it. We give a little advice sometimes, like, hey, why don't you should try this, or maybe this would work for you. And then we will post that video below their topic that they can then just click on and watch. And then normally I will, depending on what they're struggling with, post links to resources that they can use. So if it's maybe self-harm, we have a workbook on self-harm. I'll post that book down there. We have a workbook on depression. If professional counseling or therapy looks like it would help them, I'll refer them to BetterHelp, is a professional therapy organization that we partner with, and we get them a free week of counseling with them and so on. But it looks just like this, and we speak directly to the person, we provide support, and then as we are able to go outside and all that stuff more and more as COVID continues to progress and all that sort of stuff, we will just do this outside. We will do this in front of people, if they're, unless they want to be anonymous, but we will continue to just use the technology to put us and our volunteers in a message of telling these people that they are not alone and their struggle is not hopeless. Just continue to do that.
That's awesome. Okay, so is this this is different from your master class? This is just a live support or heart wall video, and is it a certain time every week, and is it free, and is it live?
Yes.
All these questions. Sorry.
No, you're good. Well, let me pull up the schedule while I'm explaining it, but it is free. It is a volunteer event, so it's not a class. I'm not teaching anything. There is a light training so that they know things that they should not say. But yeah, it's open to everyone. Everyone can come. I personally, like to meet people because I don't cover each hour that we do on the wall. I have my leaders lead an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to find the times, but I know Monday at 1 p.m. Is one of the slots. Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. is another slot. Wednesday at 1 p.m. is the one I lead. And then Thursday at 9 p.m. is the last slot.
So all different times are available. And this is a live, like a Facebook Live, so they can jump on? Or
Exactly.
is it? So it's not pre-recorded, or is it pre-recorded and then you just play it back? I guess
it is pre-recorded. I'm sorry, I said yes, but it's not a Facebook Live. It's
okay.
It's an app that we use. It's just like Zoom. So we do record it, and right after we record it, I post it right there.
Okay. Wow, that's awesome.
Yep, anyone can join.
And then what is that link or that website again? HeartSupport wall.
Well, to get to the support wall, it's forum.heartsupport.com.
Okay.
And then to sign up for a volunteer opportunity, one of those hours to come join us, just email me at John, JOHN, at heartsupport.com, and I will get you in.
Awesome. And of course, to be a volunteer, you have to be trained.
Yes. And we will train you.
Okay. Well, that's exciting. Do you have a lot of volunteers?
We do. We started doing this particular mode of outreach in January, and the response has been pretty, I don't want to say overwhelming. It wasn't overwhelming, but a bunch of people coming out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it was a response from what I believe is everyone seeing a huge need for this type of work to happen.
Oh, absolutely. So one of my questions a while back for you guys was, what is the difference between the suicide, National Suicide Prevention Hotline number, the 1-800 number, and the support wall? because some might, well, why wouldn't I just call this number? Or, what would you say the difference is?
That's a great question.
I'll jump in on that one. Yeah, I mean, the National Suicide Hotline is a crisis intervention number. It's for people that are either suicidal right now, or know somebody that they believe is suicidal, and to get counseling there. We actually refer people. We call 911. So we're not that kind of a hotline. We're a peer support organization that provides a safe place for people to talk about their struggles. And in that conversation, if somebody happens, and it does happen, where somebody gets on and makes a power statement, our move is 911. And John and I have had to do that just this year, and had a wellness visit happen. So that's what I would say. And John, I mean, you can tag on to that more if you want.
Sure, yeah. And what that looks like is, if someone were to post on the support wall and say, I am suicidal right now, or I am having very heavy suicidal thoughts and things like that, we do talk with them. But the first thing that we put up there is, this is the suicide hope line, friend. Please call this hope line right now. Or here's the crisis text line. Text home to 747-747, I think is the number.
Mm-hmm.
Please text this line right now. And then below that, we might put a paragraph of like, there is hope for what you're going through, this and this. We want to please respond to this message, hit us back, talk with us and stuff like that after you've called the hope line. Yeah.
That's good.
Use them a lot.
And I know
they do important work.
Absolutely. And I know that y'all also have some software built in where it will catch some words that y'all won't allow, some negative words, right? Like, tell us. I can't remember how that works, but
yeah, we have a monitoring system where the software picks up posts that are aggressive in nature or inappropriate in nature, and I'm told we're at about 99% of the stuff that comes in. So somebody might make a spot. I'm depressed today. I don't have a purpose to live. Anything that comes in that would say, yeah, go ahead and end it. Any of the nastiness that inevitably in a culture that's hurting might throw in there, our system already picks up and mines it out. And I'm told we're about 99% with that. And the 1% that does get through gets hit so hard, so fast, we get it off just in no time, because it just, our community is going to let us know that, hey, something's on there that shouldn't be there. So and we're building that, we're putting out a lot of resources into that very software. We're building two actually as we speak, that we'll utilize to to point people in the right direction and get people a live voice as quickly as possible. Our goal is to have somebody make a post and get a live response within a few minutes, 4 or 5 minutes. Somebody gets a live response to a post.
Right. That's awesome. Yeah, and it's so important to weed out those any negative talks. I know there are unfortunately some websites out there that encourage just the opposite. So
right.
Yeah, it's scary. Okay. I think anything else that I haven't touched on that y'all would like to talk about?
Dave, I was thinking about, should we talk about Porter, some of the digital stuff that we're developing coming out? The top secret?
Yeah.
Not ready?
No, we're the one thing that I don't want to talk about is Porter. So we're in beta testing with some things right now, and the speed of it is driving us insane. So I'd like to see this a little bit more further advanced than that. One thing I do want to do though is invite everybody out to Taco Fest this next weekend and come out and meet us. I'll be there. John will be right there at the tent. Love to and then have a real chat. I mean, love to get to know people. And I personally, I think the city of Houston is an amazing city. I've been in a bunch, and I'm really pleased at the amount of heart that Montgomery and Harris County together has for their people. And I've made what I hope are lasting connections in that city. So for you guys, for Kim and your crew, much love for all the work you're doing. We're a resource for you, for sure. Walking through this with you, and big fans of your city, big fans of your region, big fans of the Woodlands. Everybody I've met so far, I've been pretty impressed with, and I appreciate it. John,
Thank you, Dave. Yeah, we'll put a link to that Taco Fest in the comment section on this Facebook live post. But it is it's May 1st, Saturday, May 1st in Conroe. It's the Taco and Tequila Music Fest, or I can't remember the exact name of it, but I know it's in Conroe. It's another one of Trade Dealers festivals, and so we will put that link on there. But yeah, I'm excited that you are going to have a booth, a tent out there, and so we can everyone come by and say hi and get to know you guys and welcome y'all to our community. So we had John on our task force Zoom meeting yesterday, and introduced him to the task force, which I think it went real well, and we're excited to learn. Everyone was excited to just hear more about what y'all are doing. So thank you for being a part of that now. So
yeah. Glad to be here.
Well, we're unless there's anything else that I forgot to talk about, I guess that's almost a wrap for tonight, but we just can't thank y'all enough. I know you're coming in next week, Dave, to visit with, or for other things. I know you're not coming in just for me, but
big reason, though.
But we'll play some golf with you while you're here.
Yeah.
I was going for you. And we have some meetings set up while you're in town. So we're excited to see where we can move forward with you guys.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you for having.
Well, everyone, thanks for watching, and check out the links there that we'll provide on this Facebook post. But their website is HeartSupport.com. So they have so much information on there. You can get on that website for the Heart Support Wall. Get to that. Check it out. It's some powerful stuff, and they're doing so much good for people who need hope. So it's exactly what we're doing this for.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. We'll see y'all next week.